Today's topic is table views. So let's see how can we create the table views and how can you set the cells and how can you set default content of your cell. Let's see. So let's create a project for that. So here I'm going to take a sample template on from a single application, a single view application template. Okay, this is sample. That's it. And I'm going to make it out for iPhone. That's it. I'm starting on my this one. That's it. So that's what my application is. So as you all know, the flow of the application starts from main and then application delegate and then to the particular view controller and again to the app delegate, one of the method called application to become active. All right, let's start. And few things like your view controller.m file. Now let's see how can we create a table view controller in this application. So before going further, there are many ways to create the table view controller, but in general, if you want to dedicate completely your view controller to the table view controller, then you have to inherit a class called UI table view controller instead of UI view controller. So let me create a table view controller which is completely dedicated to that. That's the first scenario. And the second scenario is where you can use your table view controller as a part of your view controller. So that's the second scenario. But majority of the cases, the second scenario is really useful because in the majority of the customers, what they want is they want the table view as a part of in your view controller, and there are so many other UI controls also part of your view controller. So in that scenario, you have to go with the second option. So instead of choosing UI table view controller directly, you have to inherit UI view controller only. Then need to set few things to make your table view get worked. So let's the first scenario once. Sorry. So go to a file and create the new view controller. It's a let me create card view controller. Let's like that. Okay, which is inherited from UI table view controller. Card table view controller, isn't it? So that's it. Just click next and create. Done. So this is how what we have done here. So taken the class name as a card table view controller and it is inherited from table UI table view controller. You know the fact the UI table view controller is also inherited from your view controller, but it itself having two protocols. So I'll be explaining in detail about the protocols and how to create the properties for the protocols in other session called protocols concept. But now let's go ahead with this concept called UI table view controller and how to create the table views in your application. Now, so this itself having the protocols and already predefined properties for those protocols. That's called data source and delegate. All right, so let's see this. So this is all the code which is already predefined when you inherit the class called UI table view controller into your view controller, isn't it? So what's a view controller? So this is called your view controller by default view controller, general view controller. Yeah. Now this is not going to work out. Why? Because this class is set with view controller, so which is there here, view controller, view controller. So now, but you already taken a class called card table view controller and UI view controller, UI table view controller. So this view controller is completely dedicated to table view controller, which means that you have to take a table view controller instead of a regular view controller. So now go to UI table view controller. That's it. That's it. So now, as you already set this, drag and drop this table view controller, only thing remaining is to make the connection from this interface builder to your class. You have a class already predefined, you already created it. So just give a link for that. So which class? It's a card table view controller. Now there's a link established for this interface builder and your controller class. Alright, so now the next point is, by default application, if you run this application right now, it's automatically loading to this view controller. Why? Because this view controller is set to, look at this, because your view controller is set to as the initial view controller. Let's check it out. Let's check it out. So application is getting launched. It's launched and immediately it's showing orange view controller. That's it. It means that it's directly pointing to view controller, not to your table view controller. So our aim is to show that to table view controller. Now simply assign that initial view controller to this view controller. Is initial view controller? Yes, that's it. Now launch it. Look at this. So table views got loaded with zero cells. Just a table view with zero cells. Okay, and just for information, the concept here is, so it is directly pointing to this table view controller, but look at the connections here. This is a default view that is done, but what are these connections? These connections are protocols, properties of two protocols. Data source is a property for UI table view data source protocol, and delegate is a property for UI table view delegates protocol. If you want to see that, just go back and click here, go to this, look at this. It is a protocol with the name as UI table view delegate. Okay, and where exactly is this? Where is the property for this? This is a property for UI table delegate and UI table data source. Look at the property names, delegate and data source. So these are the two names you are able to see here, isn't it? It means that it's already been connected. The protocols has been connected. So here no need to do any extra stuff because you directly inherited UI table controller itself, which has already been connected with two protocols. What is that? UI table product, UI table delegate, and UI table data source. That's it. So now let's come to the concept now. What exactly is this? So number of sections in a table view, number of rows in a table view, and self-referring path. These are all called UI table view data source methods. So what exactly is this and protocols are? So protocols having separate concept and separate session for us that we'll discuss in detail. But now, as you already connected here, so these three methods are automatically called based on the scenario. Okay. So whenever this view controller is launched, these methods been called automatically. So here, as I said, the number of sections are 0. So that's the reason why there are no sections and no cells even. So let's keep a number of cells as 1. So number of sections as 1. So if we keep the number of sections as 1, but how many cells are there? We should give that here, right? We should give that. So number of rows in a section is also is 1. But do you know what? So first thing is you should never give these kind of constants like this. So what you should do, you should create a constant file. Constant. So here just define your constants. Define constant. What's that? It's a number of sections. It is 1. And same thing. Number of rows 1. That's it. So you can directly use that here. So can we get that? Without importing, we cannot get that. But in Swift, we can get it because everything is global in Swift. Here, constants, done. It's imported successfully. Now, k section, k number of sections, done. And here, k number of rows, done. So this is replaced with 1, and also this is replaced with 1. That's a good way of giving the constants here. And none. Look at this. So based on the number of rows in section is returning, those many times self-rotating path is called. So what is the self-rotating path method? It is a data source method which is the most and responsible method, and also we can call it the heart of the table view method. And this method is responsible for creating the cells, configuring the cells, and returning the cells. Okay, creating the cells, configuring the cells, and returning the cells. But here I asked this table view controller to give me one cell, and it's 100% come here and looking for this method. But here by default it's commented. So if I just run this application, it will crash. Look at this, because this method is looking for a method. This number of rows in a section method is looking for self-rotating path method, but we did not implement it. And these two methods are mandatory methods. So that's all declared in the protocol. Look at this, where we are writing the 0 cells. Look at the issue here. Failure to obtain the cell for its data source. So those are called the data source methods. We did not given that. We did not provide it basically. So let's provide that as well. Let's provide it. So just uncomment this code. Now here this is a code snippet for reusing the cell. Means creating the cell. So give some constant here, which is an identifier for your cell, specific cell. And you know what? So DQ reusable with identifier. What does it mean? This is a method which is really responsible for to store or save memory in your heap memory. So instead of creating multiple cells for multiple data, because of this method, it's reusing the cells. It's reusing the cells with different data. So if you don't use this approach for creating the cell, every time it will create the new cell for you, which really not at all good if we have a large number of like thousands or thousands of lakhs of rows. So at that time, application will eventually crash. There's no doubt about it, because it simply eat the memory in your heap, so which is not sufficient to run any application if you have lakhs of rows. So for that reason, if you keep the DQ reusable identifier, it will just reuse the cells with a different data. Okay, so I'll have proof. I'll show you that how it's really checking with the memory and all. I'll show you that. But meanwhile, so creation of the cell is done. Is done. And now configuring the cell. So by default, every cell has few properties. So cell dot table text label dot text is equal to. So here I need to give one label call. I mean, I should give some text here to fill some content in my cell. So what I'm trying to give is and a string with format. So I just want to give some text here. Cell number D. So what is that? Index path dot row, which gives the number. So that is done. And I would like to give the image as well. So I would like to take this as image to fill. That's it. So let's rename it image. So drag and drop to your application here, just like that. Done. And just now simply supply that cell image to image view of your cell image. How to assign image here? UI image name, because we have a string here. What's the string here? Image. So we don't need to give any extension here, because all PNG files can automatically detect this hex code. But if it's a JPG or something else, we should give the extension here explicitly. But now it's not necessary. So it is done. So let's run the application now. So as expected, it should give one cell, because we have given one cell. It's all crashed. Let's see why. Okay, because we did not register this. Okay, we did not register this. So how to register? Look at this. We have given this here as a cell. So you need to register in the storyboard as well. Like come here and click this, go to the cell and give that reusable identifier here. Now registration is done for your cell. Now execute this. Isn't it? You have a cell, right? You have a cell with a content called cell number. Cell number. So that image is not clear. So let's put something else like yeah, this image. We'll keep this image. So this is untitled, whatever it is. Untitled. That's it. So that will go there. But what we do is we just increase the number of cells. It's very easy to increase the number of cells. Just do like this. Just done. Now we need 10 cells. Look at this. We have 10 cells. Starting from 0, ending with 9. Okay. So just for your information, as I said, it is reused in the cell. What's the proof? What's the proof? The proof is, so yes, my view controller, this size of this iPhone 5 can able to fit 12 cells. So till 12 cells, it's 100% it will create the memory for these cells, 100%. There's no doubt about it. But if it's more than 13 or 14, then it will reuse the cell with this code. So what is the proof? So for that, we need to test with more cells. Okay, and we'll see the memory, what's the memory location as well. So to see the memory location, we'll print a command called nslog, and we'll print the cell address. So what's the cell address here? How to print? To print the object, this is a access specifier for printing an object. Cell, that's it. So let's run the application again. Okay, so look at this. So how many cells loaded here by default? It's loaded 12 cells, isn't it? It loaded 12 cells. So if you see this, this is all object of your cell. Look at this. This is what your address of your cell in its heap. This is a frame, and this is a text, and these are something attributes of your cell. So the important point is address. See, now everything is unique. How can I say it's unique? Look at this. I'm just copying and paste it in this search bar. It's showing only one instance. Means nowhere it's repeated. Means it's a unique one. Even you can do all. Everything is unique. So our search is, if you keep on scroll it, if I scroll it here, then it will start reloading the cells, reusing the cells. Then if it's reusing the cells, the memory location should be repeated. Then only I can say that it's saving the memory, it's reusing the cells, isn't it? Now let's scroll up. Look at this. Let's keep on creating the memories here. Okay, keep on loading the cells. But for a proof, what's the last one? It's a 99. Let's take any of your memory address here, any of your memory address. Let's say this is a cell and this is the memory address. Copy and find and paste. Look at this. How many times it's repeated? It's repeated 8 times. Means this cell memory location has been repeated 8 times. This memory location has been repeated 8 times. Means this memory box contains, look at this. For one instance, in this memory location, one time it's filled with cell number is 89. And some other time it's filled with cell number is 89. And few other things like this here, it's like cell number is 5 and cell number 19. So in 8 instances it's reusing the same cell. Why? Because you have given that reusable identifier as a, you have used this. If you don't use this, it will create 100 cells for you, which is really very costly, very cost in a point of your memory. All right, so this is how you can create your tables and all. And we have one more property for this, so that is called detailed text field. Look at this, cell dot detail text field dot text. So we can give something like some hardcode string like, and a string with format detailed text, something like, you can give the same thing, index path dot row. so that it will fill some text in that label, in that property. So if you run this, as per the default norms, it should come, but it will not come because it having some separate. While creating the cell, you should give some style here. Okay, you should give some style here while creating the cell. So while creating the cell, we should give the table view cell dot cell. Just comment this code. So while creating the cell, we should give the style here. UI table view cell init with something. Just a minute. So we have something like how to enable. So where's mama? Just a minute. So we can do it from here. We get the Stack Overflow in many ways. Enabling, just enabling default style. We'll see in the Apple documentation. st and table view iOS. We'll have a small method for that. While initializing the cell. So this is what it is. This is what it is. This is how you need to set your cell. I'm sorry. Here it is. So UI table view unit with style. This is very important. So the style is UI table view cell style subtitle, and reusable identifier is, as you said earlier, it's all common. So this auto list is not necessary because by default it's a ARC, means automatic reference counting is taken care. That's it. So now let's run it. So now as per the norms, it should come detailed text label as well. You got it or not? We got the detailed text as well. So this is how you can play with table views. And there is a second way of approach where we can have table views along with few other things. So that will in the next session, like the second approach to build this table view controller, not table view controller, actually table views. Okay, table views. We'll see that in the next session. Thank you so much.